The Indiana Hoosiers make a polarizing hire with Darian DeVries from West Virginia to be the next head basketball coach, and there's already controversy.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Well, thank you so much for being here. Shout out to all of my everydayers, those of you that come back each and every day and either watch or listen to the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. We had a breaking news episode late yesterday afternoon into yesterday evening with Darian DeVries, the new head man, the head coach of Indiana men's basketball. And there's already controversy because some fans are happy, some fans are upset. Players are leaving, possibly players coming in, more on the portal in just a little bit. Plus, where do we go from here? All of that here on today's episode. And with any coaching search and with any coaching hire, you're going to have controversy. You're going to have some fans that are ecstatic. You're going to have fans that are excited. You're going to have fans that feel this was the best hire for their team. You're going to have some fans who are kind of in between, right? Let's see, maybe our opinions are still up in the air. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how he performs in the portal and in recruiting and then on the floor, and then we'll make our decisions. Then you've got a group of fans, which seem to be the loudest group of fans, who are just appalled by this decision. They can't believe it. They're upset. They're furious. They're threatening to quit being IU fans. There's a lot of them right now with Darian DeVries being the next head coach of Indiana basketball. And so for a new head coach, you're stepping in major controversy already. And the fan base is just up in arms. Again, you've got pockets of them everywhere saying how they feel. And I want to know how you feel down in the YouTube comments. But I still feel that this is, for the fans who think this is a good hire, I think you're right. I think this was a different hire. I think it is somebody who, yes, was being talked about. I'll admit I didn't think was in the top spot when the decision was made. I thought Ben McCollum was still up there. I thought Brownell was there. And then DeVries was kind of in that third spot. But after a conversation between DeVries and Indiana, he obviously made a jump. He made an impression. Scott Dolson has some quotes out there about what they were looking for, right, in an Indiana coach. And he checked all the boxes. He said the right things. They offered him the job, and he took the job. So he obviously made the jump and ultimately was announced and has a press conference today on this Wednesday about being introduced as the new Indiana men's head basketball coach. But for those of you who are worried about it, I'm curious on to why. And I could see it, right? He's coached 1 year at a major college program at West Virginia. He had Drake in the tournament 3 out of 4 years. And he had West Virginia, who should have been in the NCAA tournament. Their best player, his son, Tucker DeVries, was injured through the first 2 weeks of the season and didn't play the rest of the way. The guy averages like 20 points a game, more on him in just a little bit. And they still almost made the NCAA tournament and got shafted. Everybody believes that. It's so fascinating to me that it was West Virginia and Indiana, the first two teams out of the tournament, the two teams that most people were making an argument for to get into the tournament. And then all of a sudden the Hoosiers said, hey, we'd like to talk to your guy. And he did. And now he's gone. And so I just think the guy's a winner. I think he is a up and comer. There are people on, I guess, in the recruiting side of things that I'm hearing that they really believe in DeVries, that he can be a, quote, sleeping giant in recruiting. And let's be real, Indiana has struggled mightily with recruiting over the past several years, even just getting guys in state. Now, you've seen and heard some of the things and more portal news coming up in a little bit, but Trent Sisley retweeted the graphic from Indiana basketball and said, let's work. Let's get to work. He's excited. So Trent Sisley seems that he's going to be coming to IU. So you hopefully avoid some of that controversy, right? And he's made it known he was still committed to Indiana and not necessarily committed to Mike Woodson per se, which you could take that however you'd like, but it's good to know that your best recruit in the upcoming class is still going to be stepping on campus. Now, Harun Zrno is a whole nother thing, and talk about some controversy because there's no news that he is decommitted or at this time is not coming to IU, but just about every team in the country has reached out to him and said, hey, do you really want to go to Indiana? Do you really want to go play for a new coach that you know nothing about? You just let us know. And whether the Hoosiers can hang on to him or not, I don't know. We're going to have to find out. There's also some controversy on the money involved here with Darian DeVries, the new head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers, whose buyout was paid by Indiana to West Virginia of $6.1 million. He's also signed a deal with Indiana, 6 years, $5 million a year. Yes, $5 million a year and a 6-year contract to be the next head coach of Indiana men's basketball. And he's also going to have $7 million at his disposal for NIL and revenue sharing to literally go buy a team. Okay. It wasn't that much for Mike Woodson on this past year's team. I believe the number's right around $5 million that they paid for this team. And you saw the results. And again, we're going to get to some eligibility things here in just a little bit, but there are people fired up about that. The fact that he's here for 6 years or on a 6-year contract at $5 million a year and going to have $7 million at his hands to go and buy himself a team. I don't think any Indiana fans are upset about that, but we've been trying to tell them, and I've been trying to tell you, that Indiana's NIL situation is insanely stupid. It is so good that any coach would be foaming at the mouth to come and get an opportunity at this. But, some people say that's cowardly. We'll have more on that on tomorrow's episode. And you have this money just literally put on your desk and say, go have fun, go buy us a winning team. And that's exactly what DeVries is going to have to do. And I expect him to do that in recruiting. I expect him to do that in the transfer portal. But are fans happy or are they worried? Some seem to be impressed. I think more people are getting on that train the more they read into this guy a little bit, and I would recommend you do that as well. We have some breakdown on the channel before. We'll continue to break it down as we go, but I think this is a solid hire. It's not the big name. It's not the home run. It's not Chris Beard. I get that. I do. I totally understand. But I think you should be happy with who this guy is and what he is and what he could do here in Bloomington. I've said it. He's an up-and-comer. He's a guy that won at Drake. He was winning at West Virginia, and he is going to win at Indiana. How much? I don't know. How long? Couldn't tell you. But I think it is a sneaky good hire is the way that I'll put it. But those types of hires bring up controversy sometimes. And that seems to be where the Indiana fan base is right now. And even outside the fan base, it got people riled up that Darian DeVries from West Virginia is the new head coach of Indiana men's basketball. Well, coming up here on Locked On Hoosiers, we're going to talk about some portal news so far. A couple of guys that have left the Indiana program, one that's reported to be joining the Indiana program, plus those eligibility things. Who has no more time left? We'll talk about all that coming up next right here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more, experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them to top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, and marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. And Posting a job is free and simple with Upwork, and within a day, multiple qualified candidates for you to choose from. Again, you can post a job for free, have multiple candidates within the next day that you get to choose from. Visit Upwork.com right now and post your job for free. That's Upwork, Upwork.com, Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Fabric. Life moves fast, especially when you have a family. One day you're watching your kids take their first steps, and before you know it, they're off to college. That's why securing their future is so important. Fabric by Gerber Life makes it simple to get term life insurance that fits your family's needs. With Fabric, you can apply for term life insurance online right from your couch. You can be covered in under 10 minutes. And in many cases, no health exam is even required. You can get $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. So protecting your loved ones doesn't have to break the bank. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their families. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/locked on college. That's meetfabric.com/locked on college. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions. And again, that is meetfabric.com/locked on college. Welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here again, making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics. And if you're new here, because I'm sure a lot of you are with the whole coaching search thing, and appreciate you being here, whether you're listening on audio or watching on YouTube, thank you so much, and we're glad that you're here. This is a daily show about Indiana Hoosiers, football, basketball, you name it, and we got it. Monday through Friday, free to you every single day, plus bonus reaction episodes on the weekends, on nights and holidays. You name it, we're here. So be sure that you are joining us and becoming one of those everydayers. My audio listeners, you know what to do. Follow us over there, leave us a 5-star review, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any episodes like we had yesterday when breaking down the news of the Darian DeVries hire. And if you're on YouTube, I ask that you like this video. Helps it get out there for more people to find it. Leave your thoughts in the YouTube comments down below. I want to see what you have to say about the hire of Darian DeVries from West Virginia. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're almost at 5K, folks, and I want you to be a part of that. So thank you so much for doing that. I really do appreciate your support. So with controversy, right, it comes with people's opinions. It comes with whether you like the coach or not. But there's also so many things that happen with a coaching change. And that, of course, is this transfer portal thing, which, you know, it's kind of a big deal. And Indiana is going to be in the heart of it for the next several weeks, good and bad. And we'll start with the bad, per se, I guess. We'll start with the leaving side of things, because guys can leave and guys can come in, right? It's crazy. That's how the portal works. And so you understand that when there is a coaching change, whether it's good or bad, you're going to have players leave your team. And that's in football, basketball, swimming, and diving, doesn't matter. Players are going to leave if there is a coaching change. And we have already seen 2 names leave from Indiana. Now, the portal does not technically open until the 24th, I believe, but these players have made their announcement that they intend to enter the transfer portal. And just for a second, let's just be real here. There's already communication. The tampering going on right now is so unbelievably bad, but yet here we are, and the NCAA just kicked back with their feet up, not doing anything at their headquarters. They're just letting it go. They're just happy to watch it because they can't do anything, because they're talk about an organization that is just pitiful and a waste of space. It's the NCAA. And so when these guys say, I intend to enter the transfer portal, okay, that basically means, hey, yoo-hoo, I'm available. Come talk to me, coaches, teams, and players. And that's exactly what happens. And whether you like it or not, whether it's a good or bad thing, that's up to you to decide, I guess. I'm just saying that's how it happens. And guys, when they intend to enter the portal, they have these conversations. And I'll give you the best example before we talk specific players here. Have you seen some of these guys who enter the portal with a do not contact tag on them? Have you seen that? They literally enter the portal and they say, do not contact me. I have a do not contact tag on my name in the transfer portal. What the heck does that even mean? How do you plan on transferring from one school to another if you're not allowing anybody to contact you? Seems like you may have already been contacted. It's almost like you've already made your decision. But I digress. Two names that Indiana has seen already leave the basketball program or intend to leave the basketball program. Gabe Cupps, the guard for Indiana. He was Mr. Ohio basketball. He's played with some big names. Heck, he played with Bronny James in middle school, I believe, where he was Mr. Ohio basketball. This guy was really, really good. Just didn't play this past season for Indiana. Of course, went through the surgery, didn't play, and he is intended to enter the transfer portal. And this is one that I have mixed feelings on because, yes, he was good. He was I want to say like a top 100, top 150 recruit coming out of high school. And was a stud. He was a really good player. He was a good shooter. Was a crafty guard coming out of high school. It just didn't fully translate to the college game. And he had some good moments, sure. He had some shining moments, yes, but it just wasn't going to happen here at Indiana. And I hate that because I think he really liked IU. I think he loved it here. I think he was a fan of Bloomington. I think this is where he wanted to be. I just don't think he, got a fully fair shake with Mike Woodson, but also just, I don't think had the talent to step on the floor. And so we'll see where he goes, and I hope nothing but the best for him. Do I think he could start Power 5? Maybe. Do I think he could start mid-major and be a dude? Absolutely. So we'll see what happens with Gabe Cupps. Again, he has said that he intends to enter the transfer portal. The other one is one that I was very curious about. I was wondering if this was going to happen, and it ultimately did late last night. Again, talked about Gabe Cupps, and the other one is Malik Reneau, your junior forward for Indiana, your leading scorer from this past year, has decided that he is going to leave the University of Indiana. Oh, wait. Indiana University, right, Malik? He's going to transfer and go play somewhere else. And this is somebody that has been a fighter for this Indiana program. He went through a lot here at IU during his time, and it was all under Mike Woodson. And he's somebody that got better over time. Again, your leading scorer this past year for Indiana. And down the stretch, when we began playing him by himself without Umar Ballo, he actually started to thrive a little bit. And he's a good rebounder. He's an okay defender. His problem is he can't quit fouling. He can't stay in the game because when he does play defense, he uses a little extra contact to do it, and he gets called for it in the Big Ten. That's just how he plays. And so, look, I think he's somebody that can still make somebody a really good team. I think if he is able to, have the right attitude and continue to work on his game, whether that be the 3-point shot or his inside game, rebounding, right, defending without fouling, I think Malik Reneau can go and be really special this for somebody. And during his time, I'm reading it right here, averaged 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and shot 55% from the field during his career. I just think he's somebody that will be picked up by a Power 5 program and make them better. Don't know if he'll be a true starter. Don't know if he will be a role player. I don't know. Just depends on what team picks him up. But I think he'd be a good addition. He put in good work for IU, but he was a Mike Woodson guy. And when Woody left, Malik Reneau has decided to leave as well. So Gabe Cupps and Malik Reneau, as of right now, are the two that are deciding to leave Indiana. But there is good news because I've told you about Darian DeVries and his son, who was injured and did not play much with West Virginia this season, which is a big reason why they missed the tournament. He is reported to be joining his father here at IU. We'll talk about that in our final segment, plus what happens now for Indiana moving forward with a new head coach. All that coming up next right here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Monarch. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you a full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place, so you stop managing your money and start building wealth. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without all the stress. No more fighting, no more arguing, no more having long discussions. You can do it all with your partner with Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Monarch like the butterfly, right? Monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for half off of your first year. Final segment here on Locked On Hoosiers. Again, thank you so much for being here, and want to tell you about a report from the son of Darian DeVries, your new head coach. His name is Tucker DeVries. And this was almost, inevitable is the word about DeVries. If he were to have left West Virginia, whether that be Indiana, Iowa, whatever job, right? It was known, and it was a major feeling that his son Tucker was going to be joining him wherever he went. And thankfully, that's going to be right here in Bloomington. So DeVries is going to be coming as the head coach, and his son Tucker will be joining him as well. Listen to some of this, okay? He was injured this past year, but he's a 6'7" guard, averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1.5 blocks when he played in 34 and a half minutes a game in the 8 appearances he had for West Virginia. He shot 41% from the field. How about this, folks? 47% from 3 and 82% at the free throw line. Let me read you all those stats again. In 8 games, and I know it's a short window, I know it's a very small sample size, but this is not a fluke, okay? He's 6'7". He averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1.5 blocks. He shot 41% from the floor, 47% from 3, and 82% from the free throw line. This dude can ball. He can absolutely play. And he is immediately stepping in to an Indiana roster and becoming, I would say, the best player, because you lose 2 guys to the portal, right? With Gabe Cupps and Malik Reneau. You've got a lot of guys who still have scholarship eligibility, who still have the ability to come back and play. But Tucker DeVries is no joke, and he's going to step in and be your best player right now, because you lose Gabe Cupps, you lose Malik Reneau. Also, guys who cannot come back: Anthony Leal, Langdon Hatton, Trey Galloway, Umar Ballo, and Luke Goody's an interesting situation too. This kind of gets into what happens now. He's appealing that, and he's trying to get an extra year of eligibility. You're dealing with the NCAA, buddy. Good luck. I wish you the best of luck, but we'll see how that goes. I would love to get Luke Goody back, because I think he can be a key piece to this team. I think he is somebody who could be much more productive in a more productive offense, for lack of a better word, to double up there. I think Luke Goody can make this team better, as he did this year. He just kind of flamed out there down the stretch. And if he gets that extra year of eligibility, we'll see if he even wants to come back to Indiana. I think Gabe Cupps and Malik Reneau, they have that option. I don't know if they will. I don't know if Indiana will take them. That's what you have to remember too, right? Is this is a new head coach. This is a new staff. They don't have to accept you. They don't have to bring you in. And so you start thinking about guys like Bryson Tucker or Cannon Carlisle or Miles Rice, or how about Mackenzie Mbako? What do you do with players like that who have been here for a couple of years or just transferred in this past year. What will Darian DeVries do with these guys? We're going to have to wait and see. But the good news is his son, Tucker, is going to be joining the Hoosiers. He'll be the best player. He'll be the best shooter. And a father-son duo, I don't think that's a bad thing. So you should be excited about at least what the roster could look like coming up next season. I told you earlier about the NIL money you're going to have to spend if you're DeVries. There is no excuse for this team to at least be competitive in 25 and 26. And so those things get me excited, but I understand the concern, and I understand there's going to be a lot more change with the roster moving forward. And for Indiana, you just got to be ready for it. And if you're an Indiana fan, just be ready for it. We're going to do our best to cover all of it here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast, but this thing could be depleted. Remember Mark Pope, when he stepped into Kentucky, there wasn't a single soul on the roster. They all left. Most of them followed John Calipari to Arkansas. That won't happen here because Woodson's not coaching anymore, but it's not the end of the world. And look at Kentucky. They're a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, and our buddy Lance Dahl of Locked On Kentucky is throwing a party right now. It can be done, but a lot more change is coming. So I'm telling you to brace for impact, and then we'll rebuild with the new head coach of Indiana men's basketball, Darian DeVries. That's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Again, thank you so much for being here. Cannot stress enough how much fun we're having. Enjoy covering big-time news, things like this, and breaking down and giving our thoughts. And so want to hear your thoughts as well. Drop them in the YouTube comments if you're watching over there. Be sure you subscribe to the channel and like this video. If you're listening on audio, follow us. Give us a 5-star review and turn on those notifications, okay? We're back tomorrow and responding to a take that it's just flat out wrong. We'll have that for you right here on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. But until then, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.